What if, where is that? Where is that? What if somebody came here to America and then started purposely excluding black folks from work? I was not talking to you. My sporadic responding phone. It's not what I was doing. Let's see. Where is that video at? I just saw it. Okay. Oh, there it is.
Latino anti-Black bias shows up not only as an expression of individual Latino racial attitudes of employers, supervisors, etc., but also in systemic structures of intentional exclusion. So in a Chicago-based case, Hunt versus Personnel Staffing, Latino employees of this Chicago-based nationwide job placement agency described how their Latino supervisors trained them to exclude African-American applicants from job placements in favor of Latino applicants. They were instructed to automatically reject Black people because of the stereotype that they were not capable of working as hard as Latinos and that Latinos couldn't be Black themselves. The lawsuit details how dispatchers who nevertheless sent African-American job seekers to a company would later be reprimanded by their Latino bosses for doing so and threatened with termination.
Wow. Oh, wow. And we supposed to feel some kind of way. Have us getting involved. Oh, no, the hell you don't. See, when she was talking about let's have peace, that wasn't referring to peace with us. I was referring to peace with who they came and thought that they were getting along with. And see, so now you're hearing the truth. This is the truth of anti-Black Mexican bias. So they come here and say, we gonna get these jobs. We ain't gonna hire no Negroes. Notice how it's specifically Black Americans at that. You come here with the disdain for us. That's crazy, ain't it?
The placement agency would start the day by separating out each of these applicants and labeling their file folders, Black, Hispanic. So one of the agency dispatchers testified as follows. If it was 10 Mexicans that would come in at 1:30 in the afternoon and 25 African Americans that were there at 4:30 a.m. and were waiting to be sent to work, the agency would send the Mexicans first. This Latino-run employment agency effectively ensured a secondary racial caste system of Latinos over Blacks in the already segregated Chicago area labor market that privileges Anglo-whiteness.
No more money for Joe! No more money for Joe! Anybody telling you to advocate for that is a fool. And I do mean anybody that is telling you that's the route to go is a stone cold fool.
So it's like, if y'all want to play the game of trying to be vehemently anti-immigrant like the white folks, all you're doing is hurting yourself.
Absolutely.
And trust me, and they're going to be real mad. I just said that. So they're going to cover all the videos, but they can all kiss my ass. Go ahead.
They have nothing to say about all of the anti-FBA hate And they never want to address that. They also don't want to address that it is very disrespectful to us and our ancestors to come to America, get in these positions, and then not advocate for these people. You come here to advocate for your countrymen? That's not coming here to assimilate. That's coming here to tether, to benefit something else outside of us. We don't owe you nothing here. And listening to this idiot, y'all can stop it, Roland. And see, listen to how he's going to try to spin this.
But certainly when you think about also the children, people like myself who are born of Black folks born outside, now all of a sudden you get to 1 in every 5 Black people being either a foreign-born Black person or child of a foreign-born Black person.
That's BS. Total horseshit. You mean to tell me you want us to believe that 1 in 5 Black people, one in every 5 Black people is from a parent that wasn't born from America? And what she's saying is notice how she's trying to frame it, but the reality of what she's about to run down is them staying amongst themselves and keeping their thing going in this country. That ain't integrating into this country. So, but she's trying to use it as if, they're coming here mixing and marrying foundational Black Americans. That's not the case. But listen.
And that does not include my son. Shout out to him, turned 30 yesterday. And so now you have a 3rd generation of folks, right?
No. Hold on. I want to stay right there because that's critically important. So what you're saying, and again, this is the thing that these people, this is when you're stuck on stupid and you don't pay attention. So I'm just going to use, so you take Eric Holder, who was the Attorney General.
Barbados. We don't celebrate no Eric Holder. So he's about to go on to the list of people that we aren't championing, except for Kwame Ture, and they always bring him up. Yes, he is from Trinidad, I believe, but he was on the wavelength of furthering the Black American cause, which in turn then would benefit other groups. That is the exact opposite of what you guys are pushing. You're pushing immigrant first. That is not the agenda of the Black First movement. That is not Black empowerment. That has not ever been at the forefront of the Black empowerment movement in America. So this is rewriting history in itself. What a suck.
You take Colin Powell. You take Shirley Chisholm. I can go Stokely Carmichael. I can go Harry Belafonte. I can name a whole host of folk today that when you start, Wes Moore, governor of Maryland. Wes
Moore, the person who vetoed the reparations bill out there. What are you talking about? Like, we're no big fan of Wes Moore. What is he saying? See, that's the thing. Anyway, let him finish.
So, and they love yelling tethers. So the number you just gave, so what you're saying is that 20% of African Americans are children of Black immigrants. You said 1 in 5.
What I'm saying is 20%, 1 in 5 are either foreign born, so they're either Shirley Chisholm.
I hear somebody that would have a vested interest in fighting the OMB designations. So basically, this is against delineation. And multiple generations of wherever the hell your culture is from still goes back and translates to your culture. That doesn't translate into any of these people advocating for Black America whatsoever. It hasn't yet. Westmore is over here working against Black America. And all the other bootlicking shines like this one here and Roland Martin, all they do is look to do what that party says and leave it up to their god, the blue donkey.
And Kwame Ture, right, born outside this country, or they're children of people born outside this country, such as myself, such as Westmore, some of the other names.
Yeah, see, that's a self-preservation thing. That ain't got nothing to do with us. That got nothing to do with us. That's you're trying to preserve yourself. They try to pass that off like it's some kind of benefit to us. It ain't. Here's Eric Holder. I mean, these people are a joke. Hey, come on now. Where's that at? It's open.
Fearlessness. Now, the forces reshaping our country are testing not only our institutions, but our collective and individual capacity to defend the ideals of this nation. And these actions require from all of us, a clarity of purpose that is equal to the rising stakes. We are seeing a sustained effort to eradicate the Voting Rights Act. That is the crown jewel. That's the crown jewel of the civil rights movement and an essential part of Dr. King's legacy. We are witnessing the weaponization of the Department of Justice by the president and his lackeys to silence his critics and to intimidate voters. We're observing Gestapo tactics by federal immigration law enforcement in Minnesota, as well as around the country. You all remember the name Renee Good, and you say her name. You say her name. We are experiencing unprecedented mid-decade gerrymandering.
This ain't got nothing to do with us. When you bring up Eric Holder, here he is. Do you see how he just did the exact same thing? Use Black people to promote other people's causes, and eventually using Black folks to promote the death of a white woman. Good going. Yeah, we're really winning there. Good grief. Oh my goodness. Eric Holder, who went out of his way, who wouldn't go out of his way to help FBA person if he saw them in the street being mugged. You already know. He don't fool with us. That man does not mess with us. So what about these people? What about them? People who hate Black America? They can't stand foundational Black America. Want us to fight for everyone else. No, I don't think so. Now, with that being said, let me see. Talking about his Gestapo tactics. Yeah. Gestapo tactics, I guess. But realistically, I'm seeing the play.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart,
this is brutal. This is brutal.
We shall overcome someday. Thank you, Big
So, what you're witnessing is the reinventing of Kamala, and this reinventing. This reinventing is based off of damage control for her next campaign. So this is where the midterm madness focus comes into play here on this broadcast. Rebranding of police by both DNC and RNC to avoid talking about foundational Black Americans reparations. And as you see, everything. Jocelyn Street and Devin, I see it. Crew Reality in the building. See who else is up in here? May Good. And that's everybody. Kerman in the building. Yes, indeed. And Lynette Williams in the building. Yes, I see you. All right. Okay. And Nightbot on deck. Okay, so, this rebranding of the police, I see it as the way it's happening with this sloppy job of ICE. And then you see the Birdsong fellow come out, which I believe that is more of that right-wing, fake militant jive, still doing jive talk type of thing. Because when they came out, people thought that, they automatically assumed that's a Democrat psyop. No. I believe from the tone of what they're speaking, that'd be more Republican. But it serves a purpose though, because it puts attention, fake attention on Black folks, supposedly. But of course that didn't work because we had quickly squashed it. But it'll put attention on so-called Black militant groups. And then you start saying, they're tied into those FBAs, and then you start calling one, it becomes one big Negro. And then there you start saying, well, see, we told you years ago that there were Black identity extremists. All the while you got this damn informant gaslighting people, and nothing of the sort is coming from the grassroots. So here's the police aspect of it. Defund the police. We need to stop talking about defunding the police. We can't be talking about defunding the police. And then now it is abolish ICE. The 2020 uprisings and racial reckoning is because of the historic treatment of Black America. Now, since then, everybody is trying to find their way to hijack that momentum. And right now we're seeing it done again with this whole ICE move. And the fact that we aren't involving ourselves in it, then that's where everybody takes notice that your movement can't sustain itself without our support. Well, we also showed that within the course of the last election. And so even still now, to where people are trying to go out of their way to avoid dealing with the Black grassroots. So now they're just putting any and everything out there. But the one thing they are trying to do is rebrand the police. And so now all of a sudden the police are victims, but they're not victims by way of the citizens. See, that was the problem before, was making police victims by way of saying, well, this is what they're doing to the citizens. Now you don't have that problem, because you got these ICE idiots, or the the Department of Homeland, or whatever the hell they are. They're running around there doing their ignoramus thing. And so that actually makes the cops look good. The cops now look like they're defending the people. In just 2020, it was the cops cracking heads and shooting rubber bullets in people's eyes, shooting tear gas at people. Now, the police are coming through as the heroes. Oh man, we got sprayed by tear gas trying to help the crowd, and the federal people came over and sprayed us. That's a hell of a rebrand, isn't it? And both sides are aiding in this. They're no one is saying, hey, we need to get, well, one thing, like we were saying, defund the police. We haven't seen defund the police in a long time, but now they're talking about abolish ICE. Abolish ICE. Abolish ICE. Got to abolish ICE. It's like, well, how does that work? You're going to abolish ICE, but you're going to abolish ICE, but not do anything about these crooked anti-black policemen? How does that work? Okay, so put it over here. Let's get this image here, because I think I will get dinged if I play the video. So I'll have to. I believe I have to share the audio. Let's see. Hold on. Where's that at? Okay, let me get that. So for some of y'all might have seen this before. Where's that? Not the whole video. Where you at? Because this dude here, oh, here it is. Stop sloganeering. Stop sloganeering. Oh, I couldn't do that. Oh, I have to do it like that? Okay, so I guess it'll just be me on the screen while I'm playing this audio. So, let's get it. All right.
Of the House seats that you lost and why that happened.
Well, it happened simply because we were not able to discipline ourselves according to voter sentiment. We keep making that mistake, this foolishness about you got to be this progressive or that progressive. That phrase, defund the police, cost Jamie Harrison tremendously. I'm not saying it was the only problem.
You sound kind of mad, Congressman. It sounds like you're blaming the more progressive members of your party for holding folks accountable or to a standard that doesn't work in their district.
He's literally upset about people saying defund the police, understanding fully why black folks wanted the police defunded. But he is upset at it. And really, that's not a black folks thing. That's a DNC line in the first place, but you know. It's amazing that he'll say that's what pisses him off. Advocating for black folks upsets Jim Clyburn. Y'all see that? That's wild, ain't it?
You blame the progressive members?
No, I don't blame progressive members. I want everybody in my caucus to be as practical as I am. That's the difference here. How are you going to look at me and say I'm not progressive? This foolishness about you more progressive than I am, that's poppycock, and I'm not going to listen to it.
If you could have a caucus meeting right now and you would, or tell folks what they should do differently, given the losses that we have, what would you say to them?
Stop sloganeering. Sloganeering kills people. Sloganeering destroys movements. Stop sloganeering.
He really upset at sloganeering, huh? It kills people. And so there was promises made by the DNC to Black America. And then we got this.
That's why the American Rescue Plan that you all provided $350 billion that cities, states, and counties can use to hire more police, invest in more proven strategies. Proven strategies like community violence interruption, trusted messengers, breaking the cycle of violence and trauma, giving young people some hope. We should all agree the answer is not to defund the police, it's to fund the police. Fund them. Fund them.
And that they did. That they definitely did. Reginald Jeter in the building, B1 from South Carolina. What's going on? Good to see you in the building. Yeah, never forget. Yeah, we don't need to defund the police. We need to fund the police. In the famous words of Howard Dean, Pew! My goodness. And these people will tell us that Black politicians got our back. We got the biggest caucus in Washington and no advocates, but will love using us. Like this woman.
We are supposed to be about checks and balances. It should not matter whether or not you're associated with the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, independent, or whomever, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're middle class, whether you're a Black immigrant or whatever. But it seems like we only have a political.
Notice how they also do that. They never say white, whether you be Chinese, white, or immigrant, or Black, it's always Black and immigrant. Always. It's purposely framed that way. That's can't go without noticing.
Agenda in this committee, and that's why everything goes off the rails. You only love law enforcement when they're going after Black, brown, immigrants, that kind of folk, right? But on January 6th, you didn't care about law enforcement because they still don't have their plaques up. We continue to do the right thing and say, yes, apply the rules equally across the board. And then y'all play in our faces and you only apply it to one side. I am asking for one commitment and then I will yield to the ranking member. Mr. Chair, will you commit to me as the chair of probably the most important committee in this Congress, especially in this moment where people are concerned about the level of corruption that exists within this committee? Will you promise me that you are good for doing whatever is right and following the evidence, no matter who is on the other side of that evidence?
Who knows? And they'll probably tell you yes, but they'll still do something else because that's the nature of this country. But let's continue on because, see, she just doesn't do it a lot, but so does other people that aren't even Black.
people that don't have cars, don't have driver's licenses. So it's where Black people had to prove their right to vote. And oftentimes they couldn't vote because they couldn't pass some crazy test or they didn't have the appropriate ID. It also affects women that are married. Maybe your passport reflects something that's different on your birth certificate or on your driver's license. So really the bottom line is voter suppression. And I agree with him 100%. It's a brilliant notion that less voter ID laws allows more people to vote. And most democracies do it that way. We're the only ones that really don't do it that way.
Right. I mean,
yeah, always have to invoke Black folks because you need some kind of political power. And then what really ticks me off are the Roland Martin types, and his crew is really ridiculous. None of us know Jasmine Crockett's background. We don't know where she's from whatsoever. She kind of looked African. She kind of looked Caribbean. But she definitely does not speak foundational Black American. And you got people who are going to come out the woodworks because they're Democratic shills doing nothing but making sure they support her. Like this one.
Let me tell y'all something. I don't give a fuck how many times you want to sit up there and bitch on a podcast or write a hack job on Jasmine Crockett because you're offended that somebody has called you out on your misogynoir. He's still gonna keep our foot on your necks. You know, this New York Times op-ed really pissed me off because I can't stand how y'all don't want to stand on business. Saying that the worst of 2020 online progressives has reared its head in this race is bullshit for a number of reasons. Number one, don't say progressives when you really want to say Black. Because progressives can be just as racist as you non-progressives. So what you really mean is Black, not progressive.
The fake tie-in to Blackness, it's unnecessary. But she already went there when she started with the whole misogynoir thing. So instead of pumping her on her politics, she comes now to shame critics with, "This is why you don't like her." That didn't work last time around, but you're not seeing these people be able to pivot from these bad strategies. Bad strategies. This is terrible. Jasmine is for illegal immigrants. That's a fact. I agree. Here's more though.
So just say Black, that's what the problem is, right? Black motherfuckers is telling y'all that y'all racist and sexist, and you are. Number two, you're fucking welcome for the 2020 online progressive movement when you really mean Black. The 2020 racial reckoning was actually the best thing that happened to this country because when Black people got our asses out there and rose up and made white people and non-Black people have to be decent for 2.5 seconds, that saved this whole country from a madman that was killing us off in COVID.
Now, with that being said, now I'll stop it right there. Okay, that's the grassroots, Reese. That's not no Democrat loving shills and all that. That's none of that. That's us. That's the Black grassroots. Pull up summer and the pull up era. This is all from the Black grassroots. It has nothing to do with no DNC affiliated nothing. I mean, there might have been some people around that might have had or have some affiliation with these parties, but, you know, unbeknownst to myself. But, you know, time tells all things. But in saying that, there's nobody other than the Black grassroots that have made things move, made things pop. But now here it is. They're trying to rebrand people, and they're even silently trying to rebrand the Black grassroots. And then they're going to start, like I said, you're going to start seeing more and more people out here. Didn't I remember, I'm the one who told you Mano was going to start making a big pivot into media and into political media talking spaces, which, you know, maybe they went away from that because it was kind of called out early. But I mean, these are things I'm paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing. It's one lane that I do watch. You know, see, well, hey, what are people doing here? And yeah, I can't help but remember that one. And they got Mano over there with Angela Yee. It's only a minute. Keep an eye on that. They'll start leaning into politics. But now they're trying to lean into Kamala's blackness because there's also Jasmine Crockett who has to fight for her seat. So it's going to be a bunch of black woman, and you guys hate black women. You must hate your mothers and blah, 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 black women. It's going to be a lot of that. So get ready for the shame Olympics or the shame-a-thon. But at the end of the day, that's just not what we into. And we have our right not to be into it. We're foundational Black Americans, period. And one thing about the rebranding of the police, the biggest thing there that I think this serves now is for Kamala. Because remember, one of the things that doesn't work for Kamala is her being the top cop. So by making police heroes, it kind of gives or loosens some of the things that might be harmful to her campaign later down the road. So I'm just peeping how they're going out of their way to rebrand the police as some kind of hero force against this Trump's ICE agents, and who more better suited to be the villain than Donald Trump in this case. And you got Jasmine Crockett that can't say anything that doesn't pertain to him, so it's kind of a match made in heaven. But not all black folks are falling for it. And so there are some people who are catching on, like this sister here.
Did I just hear this broad say that she knows her history and ICE agents look like slave catchers to her, while at the same time representing a party that was behind catching slaves? I mean, you can't make this stuff up, you guys. So that was a statement made by Jasmine Crockett, okay? And it's just interesting that she would make a statement like that while representing a party that has been behind the destruction of the Black man, policy-wise, has been behind the destruction of the family, Black family, policy-wise, has been behind the destruction of Black economics and progress, policy-wise. Mm-hmm. And then she makes this statement regarding ICE agents, because President Trump is trying to implement the law and get these people that were brought over by millions during the former corrupt senile president's administration. And you know where these people mainly come? They come primarily to Black areas. And in a matter of time, they have businesses on every corner in Black areas, thanks to our government giving them all these benefits for practically nothing. Okay, so it's just interesting that she would make that type of statement. And it just shows how ignorant she is and how the left only uses us when we want to push a corrupt agenda for them, or we just are ratchet or ignorant for the most part. Somebody please, out of love, tell Jasmine Crockett, have several seats in honor and respect of our ancestors. And while she's at it, shut the hell up.
I concur. Yeah, I absolutely concur. You know, this is something to keep an eye on. It's I think the more that these people end up doing out here and start lighting folks up, I think we are going to definitely see, well, I think because we cut Birdsong off at the knees, I think that was going to be the play. Like, let's have a big show off with the Panthers and ICE. But now that's kind of been derailed. So who knows what they're going to do next. But keep an eye out for these people, folks. These folks are not to be trusted. Let's see. Oh, and speaking of Birdsong, I knew I didn't like something that he had said, and it was that part about what he said about his charges. Well, come to find out, my suspicions seem to be leaning on the correct side. There's a video that is now out explaining just who this fella is. So in closing out this rebrand in this section of this broadcast, the rebrand of the police by way of the DNC and RNC, one of, I believe, the aides that is to help this rebrand is supposed to be this guy, Paul Birdsong, and aiding and abetting foolishness amongst our community. As some kind of fake ass gangster.
Y'all now are familiar with this guy right here, Paul Birdsong, the guy who's going around screaming he's the new chairman of the Black Panther Party. I want y'all to take a look at this footage right here that I found.
Chief of an interview we did 2 weeks ago with a protester. He talked about protesters in Portland being taken in unmarked vehicles by agents. But during the interview, he talks about gangs in Lansing.
You come try to snatch one of us, the rest of us gonna blast your. You better do that while we not with each other. And then you come to Sandhurst with the Pyrus and the Gangster Disciples is linked up at and try to snatch somebody over there. I dare you. Make sure you get this in Sandhurst. That's Sandhurst. Come over there and try to take somebody.
Not only do we have that footage, but come to find out, your man's a sexual offender. Sexual offender. Register sexual.
Let me just take a look at that real quick. Failed to verify that max offender information. Let's see, failed to verify. So he got a couple of failure to verifies. Complaint. Complaint assistant, miscellaneous action one. Oh man, he's had a few warrants out for himself. Oh man, yeah. And all of these failure to verifies. So he keep moving from place to place and not registering. Because he's an offender. He gotta register. This is why I keep telling y'all. Y'all keep trying to argue with me in the comments. Y'all have to stop blindly following people that just pop up out of nowhere with a cause. This man is an agent. He is an agent that is working for the government in some way, shape, or form. I do not believe this man has free will and he's out here making decisions on his own. I've seen him as a Pyru. I've seen him dressed as a Blood. I've seen him in a Malcolm X outfit. He has identity crisis. Huey P. Newton's daughter is filing a lawsuit against this man for using the Black Panther name and image. But y'all, please stop following false prophets. Don't J. Cole got a song about false prophets? Nothing that this man is doing is beneficial to the Black community. Fighting and combating ICE is not beneficial to the Black community. I don't care what no one has to say. And I got more information on Paul Birdsong. I ain't even dropped all the information I got more. And then there's more. But the more videos he make, the more videos I'm gonna make, because I'm not gonna let y'all follow no false prophet. I'm sorry. Y'all can call me a hater. Y'all can say I ain't doing nothing for the community, but I ain't no offender that needs to be registered out here talking about so we need to protect the people from ICE. No, the people need to be protected from you, Mr. Birdsong. Back to Mundo. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Hmm. Well, closing out this segment, I'll close out this segment with this message. Remember, we do not have an obligation to fight for any other group. Every group that is complaining about what they are experiencing by way of Donald Trump being in office is nothing more than what Black folks have endured throughout all of our time here in America. It's nothing new. What it is, though, is letting everybody else see the truth and what they have always tried to deny when it came to us. And the difference is, as people thought that we could be deported, the truth of the matter is we are foundation to this land. Which means when they come around you up, don't come calling for us. Because we were bullet bags of Katas and Jarirs and Mayates. So for that, we have to tell you, hashtag fire up the jet. It's your birthday.